Are you curious about the secrets behind those who have made fortunes through vacant land investments? Look no further. We have the perfect solution just for you. Introducing Getting Dollars from Dirt, a beginner's guide to vacant land investing. This extraordinary book serves as your ultimate resource if you aspire to make a significant impact in the real estate market. Inside, you will uncover time-tested strategies and expert tips that will effortlessly guide you through the realm of vacant land investing, regardless of your experience level. Bid farewell to perplexing terminology and overwhelming information overload. This book has been meticulously crafted to offer practical steps that will kickstart your journey toward financial independence. Discover the art of recognizing the most lucrative vacant land opportunities. Getting Dollars from Dirt leaves no stone unturned. You will acquire the confidence and knowledge necessary to make shrewd investment decisions. Secure your copy of Getting Dollars from Dirt today and embark on your path to wealth. Click the link in the description below to order your copy now. Don't delay another moment. Begin constructing your fortune today.
I'm recording. And you ready?
Yes, sir.
And in the business action.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Bands Podcast. I'm your girl Tiffany Nicole, and that is Last Trace.
That's me.
And y'all know this is his favorite segment. Ninja business. That's why we're laughing as we come on, because he just can't keep it together.
I can't, because I like hearing people's ninja-ish.
It makes him feel good about his ninja business.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mine's not that bad, because if they did that, then I'm cool.
All right, so fellas, please enlighten me and tell us about some ninja business that you have done with Ancestry Lands. And then we're going to get into some ninja business that you've suffered from or had to go through or deal with and how you kind of worked around it. But first, tell us your own ninja business, because people don't like talking about their own stuff, their own dirt.
Got it. So, let's see, where do we start? So, like you said, we were talking previously before about, eliminating these barriers to entry. So some of the ninja business is like, listen, circumstances come up. That's kind of a nice way to say it. But, when you don't take care of home, then you put yourself as you start to create a liability. And then these payments become, instead of an asset portfolio, you start to think of this as a liability. You get the wrong mindset, and then you default on your payments, and then you can lose out on this unvaluable asset. So, not that it happens a lot, but within the business model, the numbers are, you're going to have some of those people that default on their loan, and then for sure like that.
As soon as you eliminate the credit check,
yeah.
You open the door for the ninjas.
Yeah, for sure. But think about it. So, you try to, like I say, minimize the impact of barrier entry as much as possible. This ain't a hookup though. You still have to be accountable. It's a mindset that you have to treat it like, okay, this is a business asset. That's something I'm building, I'm putting to my portfolio, and you need to take it serious as such. It's a lot of times it's serious as your whole job and your profession. Yeah. So when you don't have that mindset, and then you get lackadaisical about it, and then you start to default, and then now you get to lose out on this incredible opportunity. So that's one of the things about it.
So if someone defaults, they're just out of it completely. There's no okay.
Yeah, so I would say is that I have a ninja business kind of filter or a guard dog way of doing in the business, where when you're starting out in a business like this and you say this is the angle that I want to do, and let me just preface that in the industry that I'm in on a whole, I've been probably the only person of color in a room next to maybe an Asian person. They say, people of color now. So when I look in there, these people charge interest. They have, it gets tricky. You almost have to have a degree in it to figure out what you're paying at the end of the day. Yeah. I did do a video on education playlist in Ancestry Lands on YouTube about understanding how to calculate interest. I actually walk you through on a spreadsheet on how to understand how interest is being charged. So you can see where you have a $300,000 home loan that ends up being a $500,000 30-year payoff that you don't understand why that's happening. That amortization schedule, I show you that. So understanding that I'm going to eliminate interest and credit checks, I now have said, what can I do to eliminate ninja business coming my way. And that's one thing is that I handle this business with all seriousness of that. Everything rides on the line. It's my wife and I's name on the title. It's not Ancestry Lands. Ancestry Lands is our way of putting it out there so people can understand the concept of what we envision of giving you something that is generational wealth. But we're putting our names on the line. So I take that seriously. So we hold the title of the property until you pay it off. So if you're putting $1,000 down, and I can safely say with defaults, they've been less than one hand out of 4 years. Yeah, because the people who are coming, the value that's being offered, the $1,000 down, which people can do, the payments are collected through Zelle. They're more Cash App, so we don't do it on a credit card. You got to come with skin in the game.
Yeah.
That eliminates any funny business up to the door. You're also informed that if you don't make the payments, all monies are forfeited. Now, I'm not a stickler saying that if you came to me and say, hey, Phil, look, man, I'm in the hospital, which some people have been, situations happen, and, I'm going to be a day late or something else like that. I always say people call me. I'm like having Papa John's deliver pizza to you every time. He just says, hey, Trace, hey, here you go. Here's your pizza. How the kids? That's how I want the business to be, mom and pop feel. But it's on the burden of proof. It's on the person who wants to buy the land. Because for me, if you don't pay it off or you don't make the payments and we foreclose on it, you're going to see it on the market next day. Someone else. And I don't let people build on a property until they pay it off, because if they don't pay it off, if you build me a foundation, well, guess what? You guys now have a great property with a foundation to go in there. And when I present it to people and they say, oh, and I said, well, if you don't pay it off and you build a foundation, we're now going to sell a property with a foundation. And now we're going to sell it for more than that. So why would you do that? It's about
giving us value.
Right. And so don't listen, I want you to be wealthy. Don't create it for me. Let me have my own work to do.
Exactly.
But if you're going to do that, then I'm going to sell it on there. And it's not something I want to interact with. And when I talk with all the clients first, before they say I want to put $1,000 down, it's not just hand me money and I'm going to accept it. I want to have a conversation and make sure that you are qualified. We do have, and Eric, I'm going to pass it back to him on this, because a lot of the people that come to us present it in a way, ninja business, that we interact with a lot. And that is probably where I, as the owner, have the greatest shortcomings of frustration, which is why he and I go to the gun range on Sundays.
There you go.
To practice on non-human targets, so he can always ground me down to reality, because it just becomes so frustrating when you literally provide all the resources there for a person to view. All the you can provide the information that's there, and people won't even take the time to review or read anything. Right? Tell them.
So let's go into this, right? So we are in an incredible time of technological advances. We have information at the tip of our fingertips. These devices, you look at this iPhone, this device is more powerful than the computers that sent our first ships to the moon. And yet in the advent of social media, you still got people. One of the negative downfalls to a lot of social media is this competing for attention, right? So we are in the attention economy. If you can grab eyeballs, you get attention, the more value you can come. Unfortunately, what it's done is negatively impacted from a social standpoint, our ability to concentrate for a long period of time. It's almost like this goldfish mentality, right?
Yep.
People got really, really short attention span. If you this titillation,
this things fighting for your attention.
Exactly. All this titillation, all this need to be stimulated constantly and stuff like that. So, asking somebody to read, look at a minute and a half, 2-minute video coming with all this information about an asset generating for your portfolio. That's too much for some people. So it's really weird when we try to make it, and my brother here, he does a really good job of creating these videos in these short segments that will give you if you take the time and just read the ad, which takes about 5 minutes, view a video of drone footage that takes about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes at max. You'll be surprised at the number of times and questions that people ask when they're inquiring about a property and the information is already presented. And then I have to say, did you look at the video?
Nope.
Did you read that? And because they, those 5 questions that you just asked me, that's
Right
it's
there.
right there. So that's, and within that, I've been talking to my brother about, trying to make it, we're trying to make the videos very user engaging as much as possible.
There's only so far you can go though,
For
because
sure.
it's because you got it. Like the main point is getting information to the person.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're interested, you should be able to sit and watch 1.5 minute video
Yes.
and read something.
Yes.
Like I don't have to pull teeth for you to take advantage of this opportunity.
Exactly.
Like we have to do better in that aspect. Like, come on, people. It's like,
Well,
it's,
that is the ninja filter.
it is.
Exactly.
It
There
is.
it is.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Because how do you like I said, you opening the door for the ninjas
Mhm.
with no credit check, but you really aren't because you're still filtering them out with
Right.
particular things.
For sure.
Like having a conversation with them in the beginning. Like a conversation can tell you a lot about how serious somebody is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then you got to put some skin in the game. You got to put $1,000 down.
Yeah.
Most ninjas are not going to waste $1,000.
Mhm.
So there's a part of the filter right there. And
Quick
then
pause.
It's
Not wasting $1,000 on certain
apologize.
things because I've seen on StockX a lot of us ninjas spend $1,200
On
on
Jordans.
shoes,
Yeah.
Jordan
Yes.
stilettos or whatever,
Yep.
or Louis Vuitton bags, and then it's like, oh my goodness, here it is. You can,
Priorities.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's not that we don't have it a lot of times. It's just what are our shifting our mindset, our priorities, of what we think about. Are we taking our future seriously?
Yep.
Right. So
Right. That's the lesson that needs to be learned. Come on, y'all. Come on. Thank you so much for that ninja business.
Can I add one thing?
Sure,
Just know
sure.
is that ninjas are not color bound. All right,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a mindset, an attitude, and I will say is that one of the things we do is that our team actually, because there's more than us, we actually have 3 other ladies that work with us, and we've also done the ads in Spanish because we have a lot of Hispanic clients, and not reading or not viewing something, trying to bypass that's where we cut people off at.
Yeah.
And the team is designed that they are to filter out and bring the qualified leads to me, and they speak with me directly. So no one can get past me. I'm the final stop. And it's one thing I've learned is that land will sell.
Mhm.
I don't need to beg people to sell
Yeah.
sell the land. It will always sell.
Mhm.
There's always someone that's there, and it's about people who are taking the opportunity. My heart bleeds for our community because we're so, everything we see is, someone pouring champagne on a cell phone, and that's supposed to be
Yeah.
the highlight of a day. It's not talking about land ownership, wealth building up. You got to go and get a degree on something that can be taught and is of more value
Mhm.
than that piece of paper that you're in a line of. You're now in a line full of people who are looking for the same thing. What makes you more qualified than that? And a lot of times they're picking one that they like the better look for
Yeah.
than the one who's got the most skill.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure that we're offering something that, at the end of the day, if the world goes black and dark, it's something that you can use.
Mhm.
It's been that way for the Romans. It's been that way. I even have some Kenyan co-workers they're all about land ownership.
Yeah,
In Africa,
sure.
it's all about land
It
ownership.
is.
Absolutely.
That's how rich you are.
Right.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
land is how rich you are. That's like Layla husband Dave.
Mhm.
Like they've got all this land in Ghana.
Mm.
Like it's a major thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they get it.
Yeah,
They understand.
yeah.
Well,
They
just think
understand
about
it.
if you have 5 people in a room having a conversation about just land. Everybody, you have 5-10 acres and you have 40 acres, and what are you growing? Yours cocoa
Mhm.
plants, and you build coffee greens on yours, and you got the Blue Mountain coffee in Jamaica. We're all having a different conversation that is, oh, what did you grow on here? Soil. These are conversations that when people talk, it's like having corporations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That you're talking as owners, as bosses, and then it's like, well, hey, can I put my horses on your land in the off season because the weather's not great in mine? So now we're trading. Well, can I get some coffee beans your way?
Mhm.
We're trading value here,
Yes.
and that doesn't. Where does that you don't get taxed on that?
Not at all.
And that's
That
how
never
we
gets
keep
old.
talking about how the rich are doing it. that's what they're doing. They own all of these things, and they put us in places where we don't have access to those things. We can't even grow a plant.
Yeah.
We don't even think about it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And we don't even, as a community, this is what I keep talking about with the community, is that once you have enough of this, you don't need those services anymore. It now becomes, what can I offer you that you can let me use? And now we have this. Can you hold my chickens and your land, and then in the off season, I'll give you this. Well, we collect rainwater. Well, good. We give you a couple barrels for to lower your water bill.
Yeah.
We're all financially helping each other out now because this is the power of ownership. And people don't think like this, but you got to have land in order to have that conversation. And that's where it starts at. We're now in a room talking as landowners, and then when you want to build on your property or you want to do something on your property, we're now all talking as a group of what we want to do as far as community. Well, we all say you can't get zoning changed on your property. Well, what if all the landowners now, the group of us, go and now we're talking to the county as landowner, as a group, not a HOA, not a landowners association, as a community group. We want this done for these properties because we want to do what a developer does as well. We now as a group have a voice. This is what King was marching for. It wasn't just, it was integrating through all things, getting the same power, the equal power. That's what we need. This is what X was talking about, is again, where we have control over what we own. That's what it is. We need to have that power back.
Yeah.
And we don't have that now. So again, we filter out. It's like the lemmings. They filter out themselves.
Yeah.
Because they literally, if you can't pay the $1,000 down, if you can't sign the contract, which is done on your email that you can click and sign, we eliminate all the excuses. So once we do all of that, we know that you're not serious. But the people that come to us that put the money down, they're not willing to give this up. That's why we have so many few defaults. And the people who default, when they default, they let it go. They know, okay, I've done everything in my power to make it so that way I've got to let this go. I can't blame him. And they see someone else coming by that property there. I'll wait till tomorrow. Someone else buys that property. We're selling properties every single day. We're moving inventory. And there's more people who want this than there are ninjas in every color and every shape, size that don't. But the thing is that there's people who grow up and they want access to it, and there's people who don't know that they should have access to it, and that's why we're here today, right?
Yeah.
Or someone is there trying to say, "Hey, man, I got you. I'm helping our people out, and come to me." You know.
Two things my brother said I wanted to highlight real quickly. Number one, he talked about communication, and that's communicating. If there is an issue, communicate with them, and then we can see a pathway forward for you to continue to build upon that asset. I think that's key. One of the key foundations, especially as our people, or just ninja business in general, lack of communication. Right? If you can effectively communicate, then guess what? Now we can circumvent problems, and now they continue to move a path forward. Number two is he talked about community building, right? This concept of having power, group economics, and I think we as Black people we kind of got away from that, and I think it's time we get back into that, having true power, group economics, saying that hey, you're a landowner, you're a landowner, you're a landowner. Okay, yeah, and like you said, not just being a voting block and just being forgotten about, but hey, actually, hey, we're landowners. We need something done. Now we can go to a municipality, a government agency, or something. Hey, we need this done, and here's our strength in numbers, and let's get this done. So,
come on, Dutch. See, I really appreciate young, articulate brothers like yourself. Y'all don't look like ninjas. Y'all don't sound like ninjas. And y'all don't deal with ninjas. Another thing I wanted to touch on, because like you were kind of going in just now, both of y'all, but you were almost preaching. And something you said just made me think about land and how I look at land. To me, land can be looked at or compared to time. So money has a value. Like if I pull $20 out of my pocket right now, it's $20. But if I buy a piece of land for $20, now I can build on that land, I can grow on that land, I can earn on that land. This land has infinite value.
Yes.
but it cost me one particular amount to buy it one time, and I can gain so much from this. So I just wanted to make that analogy of land to me is like time, where if you manage it right, it's an endless value. The value is what you make it. The value is what you make it. But I just wanted to touch on that. So
it's interesting you say
that
time
was-
because I think that one of the great things about it is like any human being, the most precious asset that any human being has is time.
absolutely.
That's it. Once you
That's it.
spend it,
That's it. It's
Yeah.
gone. You
So-
never get it back.
And
That's a
land
key analogy,
has to
man.
be
absolutely.
up there.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Land is up there with time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do so much. Like, don't get me wrong, I can do a whole lot with the cash that's on the table.
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't change the value of what is there. What is there, that is what is worth. There's things that change in value like land does. Like precious commodities, jewels, watches. I'm learning that bags do this now. Birkin bags. I did not know
Had to
that.
school on that.
Crazy.
Because he was talking about how they he was talking about how men park money, like a lot of rich men park money in watches.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Females park money in Birkins.
Oh, okay.
These Birkin bags are extremely expensive and they do not lose value.
Right.
Yeah.
The more rare they are, the better they are. Like I was telling him, Cardi B, her Birkin bag collection, if she ever went broke from anything, her Birkin bag collection will sustain her and her family for the rest of their lives. It's insane.
Oh,
Like, it's crazy.
Crazy.
you want to hear something interesting
What's
about
that?
how value is created through art?
Oh,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
how-
another
what was
thing.
it?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
starting to get into that. but
Yeah.
please,
Okay,
please
so this is how value created art. So you say you get a collage of local artists,
Mhm.
and then you as a business owner, you go and you say, okay, this art is valued at, let's just say an initial valuation of $50,000. All right, now you're gonna start building this artist up in your network, start talking about him, having one podcast, boom, boom, boom. Snoop Dogg did an interesting thing. He had a video where he had a whole bunch of artists, a whole bunch of their art, and he was naming the artist on it. He's creating value for that artist.
Yeah.
So now,
NFTs.
exactly. So now that art, okay, so now this happens for a year and a half. Now you get the value of the artist assessed again. Now it's assessed at $1.3 to $4 to $5 million. All right, so now you take that new appraised value of that art, you go donate it to a museum, and now you get to write that off as a tax write-off for the full valuation of that new creative value of that art.
Get out of here.
So that's how you do it under the tax rate. So
Yo,
that's how the rich do it.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to write that.
So remember that line in Jay-Z when he said, "I bought this art first, it was $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Next year it was worth $3 million.
Right.
Now it's worth $8 million. Can't wait to get it to my children."
Right.
That's what he's talking about. And so
Got it.
So just like art though, but think about it, land, what it does over
The
time
same thing.
Same
appreciates.
It appreciates.
There you go.
If I
It
can,
can't depreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, unless some kind of catastrophic natural disaster, some kind of
Or it's like a
toxic-
marshland or something like
yeah,
that. Like we have certain
marshland
places.
is actually valuable.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Because I know here, like there used to be houses right by the boulevard, and they tore them all down because they were basically sinking,
right.
and they haven't built anything on that land in I don't know how many
And they
years,
won't.
and they won't.
Right.
So that land's just sitting there. So I don't know like what they can,
Well,
who can do
so-
something with that land.
It probably can be used some kind of way to somebody.
Yeah, but no one's done anything with it for like over 20 years. It's been a very long time. So
It's rare that land depreciates.
No, well, I guess I wanted to say is that, everyone, and you are correct. Yes, cash, the $20 in cash. But what happens, like what we're dealing with now, which I'm glad, in a way, this is happening because it can bring awareness. What happens when $20 bought you 2 gallons of gas, and now $20 buys you 1 gallon of gas because now we're going through everything's more expensive. Well, conversely, let's say you planted 1 kernel corn or 1 germ of wheat on that property. The germ of wheat can give you 10 other germs of wheat through the seeding. Now you can grow bread. How much does bread cost?
A lot.
Right. So now you're selling wheat as a grain on the land, and all you need is the seed to grow.
Hmm.
So
That's
now
why I
that
asked you
land
farm,
you
but I
bought
won't
at 10,000, 15,000, you now can use that same property to grow a product that is now increasing. Bread's what, $6 for a loaf, $7, whatever it is now. You now can use that one little piece of an area. You don't need much, maybe about as long as this table, to grow grain to sell. That's all you need, and you can go right to a local and say, hey, I'm going to grow grain. I'll sell it to you right here at a manufacturer that manufactures grain. Local farmer. You don't need to be a big farmer to do that. Conversely, with the marsh, well, if we were in Florida, you can go ahead and say, well, look, I'll allow people to hunt on my marsh because water brings animals. Right.
Very true.
So now you're saying that I can create monthly or weekly revenue. Instead of Airbnb, a place I have to take liability and insurance on, I now can say, look, you sign this waiver, you go hunt on my land. You go hunt ducks on my land, on my marsh.
No liability to me. You sign this waiver.
You're waving off that if you shoot yourself in the foot, that's on
can't
you.
sue me,
And leave the ducks behind. Get to the hospital. That's all that matters. But this is where land, again, they don't know what to do on it, but we're always thinking building a brick. But again, people use land for all the times. I mean, there are species, even if it's conserved land, let's say you can't build on land at all. So what about offering that to a university to say, hey, I'll allow you all to teach students on this conservation area for these species, and you all can lease that land out to use for 100 years for X amount of dollars. Now you're negotiating.
See, I've always, just for whatever reason, it's always been land, build something. Land, build something. And that's always the concept. That's all you ever see.
Right.
Is people buy land talking about build a house on it. Okay, cool. No one ever talks about any of that stuff. So it's like my wheels are turning like, oh, I need to do
100 years. 100 years.
like
You're talking about you now have to. Now what you got to do is make sure no one messes the bag up. Man.
Yeah, that's your main
listen,
objective.
I got grandkids. Like, don't mess up the bag. That's all you tell them. Look, we got 100 years on this. I'm about to go out. I'm about 87. I'm about to clock out of here. Don't you mess this up.
I will come back.
You got one job.
Right?
One job, and that's to keep on making sure this check comes in.
Yeah.
Now that one deal, just this one deal, can mean that grandchildren who may not even know you're here, but now probably do because you just created a legacy factor. That my great grandparents, the entrepreneurs, that's who we are. We're that. Now we're carrying on that. Now you're expanding on 100-year lease deals. Now you're going around looking for these kind of things.
It's in my brain. It's in my brain right
so
now.
It's
that's
just
crazy.
The one little thing, power of land ownership, and that's what I would tell. So when people buy land from me and they come to me with these different ideas, I don't just sell it. I try to make sure that they're set up with some base knowledge and saying, hey, here's what you can do on the land. Here's some ideas like this. This is what I do with all my clients.
That's awesome.
I give them a surveyor. I give them all these lists of connections to say, hey, here's a network. What my shortcoming is, or my end goal of what I want to do is create a nice network of resources where I can say, here's your builder. Here's your electric guy. Here's your plumbing guy. Here's this, here's that. Some of my clients are actually into construction. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to pass all my clients through you because you'll know what they need. So now we're talking about, okay, well, look, we need our kids to be construction people. We need you to go into these trades now to keep the money circulating within a community. So now we're going community driving down at a deeper level.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now once you establish a business, now you may have entrepreneurs plumbing. So now you have your children now plumbers, and then they service a whole city.
Yeah.
Because we build up years and years and years. You have multiple clients who are in this area, and they know Entrepreneurs got us. Who do you need? Entrepreneur. Go to the Entrepreneur Plumbers. They got you. You go to Nubian's Plumbers. They got you right there. That's who handles this. They put this in. They're a third generation business, like we saw at Melanin Market. They're a third generation business. They've been doing this for 50 years on our properties. We don't use anybody else. So now we got the real estate down. Now we're controlling the economic market. Now we're controlling trade. So when you go to, again, talk about power, when you talk about something that community needs, people now are saying, wow, they have all these properties they own in this community. They got the trade down. We can't get into that area without going through someone. Who do we talk to?
Yep.
Okay, well, entrepreneurs, here you guys go. We got to talk to you. If you don't like the deal, if the number's not right and it doesn't work for the people that you represent, then they got to go back and figure something else out. You have the power to say no. We are always saying, can you help? Can you give? But when you have the power to say no, you're now calling a shot. Now people gotta come and now try to say, what can we do to make you happy? What can we do to get access? And that's what it's about. That's the resource of what we're offering with land, is trying to build up everyone buying this one area, get all of this traffic, get this area, and we hold this down. Now we start building up trade. We start building up. You got chicken, sell eggs. How much are eggs now? Sell them about $1 cheaper than what they do at the market now. Now you're the local egg lady. All you got to do is get chickens. What if I grow chickens? Hey, give me free eggs. I'll give you a chicken every time you got one that dies. So now we have our own market here. We don't need Acme. We don't need ShopRite or Acme anymore. Now it's between us. So we cut them out because now we control our own produce. And we can do this on small levels. They do this all the time within Hispanic communities. You see the people out in the cart selling food. Where they, Asian, they have their own, and that goes to the greater argument of where do our how much circulates back within our community. And it said that the circulation of money, I would say circulation of resources, is less than 6 hours, whereas it's 24 hours for maybe Hispanic, a week or longer within the Caucasian community. But we don't have that. So land gives you an opportunity to say, I do eggs with you, you do chickens with me. You do wheat with her, and you supply wheat, you get eggs, and then I give chicken. So now we're all covered. This doesn't cost us anything but the cost of what it is to maintain the good. So, and then who do you know that has other chickens? Well, I got a guy over here. If I give him eggs, he'll give me 3 other chickens that you like. Go ahead and raise them. Then you go ahead and have the chickens come over and fertilize the soil for you. Now you grow on wheat. See, this is a conversation between landowners. And then you have manufacturers coming, well, hey, how about we can come in here and offer you guys some. Now you're going in there and saying, well, maybe we should just open up our own manufacturing place to run this now. Call it Nubian Farms. So again, this is just off of one plot of land we're talking, right?
Contained structure. And
now you got a mayor, local officials coming and saying, we got to talk to these people and figure out, can we get their votes? And you're saying, well, look, we're not going to give you our votes because you're not speaking to what we need. They got to sit at the table because these are now we have the trade, now we have the produce, now we have the real estate. So now we're controlling jobs. We control the job market, we control our real estate market. These markets that are fluctuating, we have the ability to insulate ourselves from what is going on in the world, whether they want to start a war, create a war, whatever with a war. We now are controlling our own markets and saying, no matter what happens in the world, we got it covered. And that's what used to be there. Black Wall Street, they're talking about that. But again, Black Wall Street is not a place that you go and sell goods at. Black Wall Street was a location, real estate, that was taken because business, trade, economic, community, produce was all there. That's what we're trying to offer again. And we're saying we may not start it in California City, but we need to be able to use the value of the market, the migration, those demand, the supply and demand. We need to make sure we can build value or wealth off that demand. Going back to your cash conversation, now we have the capital to be able to start our loan markets in every other community that we actually live in. But you're not going to do that in the same place you live. Most people who own land don't own land where they reside. They own land on an island, on the beach. Rick Ross bought Kanye owns 120 acres out in Wyoming. Right. But he lives in Calabasas. Or I don't know if he lives there now, Kim. But any which way, he lives.
He's been on the ranch for a while.
Right. But, again, he has the ability to relocate, to go somewhere else. If you get locked down, well, you go to your 5 acres with your horses and you have your own modes of transportation. Now you're trading eggs for gasoline. Well, your family needs eggs. Here you go. How about a tank of gas? What do you have that economic? Now you don't have to trade cash. You trade your own goods. Or you say, hey, come farm on my land. Farm on my land. And you don't need the cash, but I'll trade you for a service that you offer. Or a plumber. Hey, we grow eggs. I'll give you eggs free for the next 4 months. You make sure that I don't have a light bulb that doesn't go out.
There you go.
Beautiful. Yo, y'all should do your own podcast.
Exactly. I'm sitting here like, I feel like we on the side.
Y'all don't get a podcast. Time to tell. And you got a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Wow.
You need a YouTube podcast.
Yeah, gotcha.
Come on, man.
Well, let's guest up here a couple more times and get you guys some volume.
Yeah, until y'all get a podcast.
Let's build up a brand.
So we're going to come back, y'all, with some tips, tricks, and resources. I felt like we just got tips, tricks, and
that's what I'm about to say.
Now, but that was only the Ninja Business segment. So we're coming right back, y'all. Stay locked in. And Ancestry Lands. Oh, my God.
Sorry.